Alright, hi everyone, welcome to Conversations with Coonies. This is Mike and Kelsey from Sweet Briar Farm. We're sitting in one of the goat pastures where we have the Kunekune sows and their piglets right now. And thanks to Todd and Rachel at that 1870s homestead, we got a bunch of new subscribers to our channel, so we thought we'd have a little chat with you guys.
And welcome. Thank you for subscribing.
Yep, and hopefully you stick around and enjoy watching some of our videos. To kind of continue the conversation that Kelsey and Rachel had about farmsteading versus homesteading. As I was watching the video, I wasn't part of it. Otherwise, I probably would have overstayed my welcome. We wanted to just talk about starting a homestead, starting a farmstead. We've been doing it since basically around 2009 when we bought our first house. We started out with chickens, and me personally, I've been like growing a garden since I was a little kid. So and expanding into a farmstead where we try to be profitable, you definitely need to have a passion for it. Believe it or not, in March I'm going to be 40 years old, and I've said this to Kelsey. I said, why at 40 years old, almost 40 years old, am I spending my summer bent over picking beans and selling them for $2 a bag at our farm stand when I have a decent paying job? So we kind of farm to farm, basically, is the point. We were probably profitable because that's one thing that Rachel asked Kelsey if we were profitable, and we probably were before we got livestock. Our hope is now that we have a good breeding stock of our goats and pigs and cows, we shouldn't have to buy any more animals into the farm, and hopefully with animal sales and like beef and pork sales, hopefully next year that we can have somewhat of a profit.
So it's got to be something you enjoy the doing of, and bigger isn't always better or more profitable. And
doing the model that we're doing is something that the state, the country needs more of. Big ag is going to keep getting bigger and buying up small, family farms, and the small farmer keeps dwindling away. So there is a need for local produce, local meats, and what we're doing is just sharing our experience with you guys and how we're doing it. And one of the things that Kelsey mentioned in the video we shot of the tour was that there is a conveyor belt that people feel that they're on, and you just need to step off of that and do something different for yourself and hopefully for your community as well. Rachel also mentioned if we watch Sow the Land and how their YouTube channel, and how impressed she was with how many people they've taught how to process chickens. And chickens are great livestock to start with. They're cheap and very easy. Yeah, like I said, they're probably one of the cheapest sources of protein you can grow on the farm.
Yeah, eggs and chicken.
Eggs and chicken, yeah. And fast too, as far as meat production goes.
Yeah, they can be a temporary investment. So even if you live someplace with extreme winters, or you like to travel, or your jobs are demanding in some part of the year but not others,
yeah,
chickens can help fit that bill.
7-8 weeks you can have a freezer full of chicken.
Another benefit I see, like on a bigger scale to what we do, is like the breeds of animals we choose to raise. I feel like that's a valuable thing, that we're keeping these different types of animals around. So like big ag is mostly like Angus and Holstein cattle, but our Dexters are really disease resistant and efficient on feed. Like there's value in different breeds that aren't the ones that big ag is focused on, and I think it's important that we preserve those breeds, because who knows what things are going to be like in 50 or 100 years. These other breeds of animals have value and are better suited for some environments than the ones that Big Ag happens to have selected.
And we've specifically chosen heritage breed animals for disease resistance and stuff like that.
Okay.
And you've noticed that in some of our videos we still do vaccinate, and we take vet recommendations because we have a lot invested in our livestock. I don't even want to tell you how much money we have invested in our breeding stock, and to lose an animal to a preventable disease by, not vaccinating, that would just be a huge detriment to us. So we take the advice of veterinarians and our own experiences as biologists to make the decisions that we do when we're treating and vaccinating our animals. If we lost, for example, our steer that's going to the butcher at the end of the month right now, that would be a $2,500 loss, and for something that we vaccinated him when he was a calf, and has remained disease free. Now chances are that if we didn't vaccinate him, he would have remained disease free, but there's always a chance. So we have critters that run up our little creek here and come into contact with our animals and can spread disease to our cattle. Mm-hmm. We had the one get into a porcupine, so who knows what other animals they're interacting with in the middle of the night. So to each their own, basically. We're doing what we're doing, and there's many ways to pet a cat. Like I've said before, you learn to do what works best for you. So it was probably 2015 or so we switched from kind of homesteading more to the farmsteading, and I guess the definition difference would be farmsteading would be more you're trying to sell some product for income, and we shifted kind of from grow for us and sell the rest to grow for them and eat the rest in around 2015 or so, and that was specifically with produce and pumpkins and stuff like that.
Yep.
And then
eggs.
And then in 2019 we started with bees, and then 2020 we brought home our first larger livestock, and our third year with larger livestock. Mm-hmm. So we're not by no means expert, but the thing is with the large livestock is that you learn pretty quick what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
Especially with like fencing and gates and stuff like that, loading, unloading animals. Mm-hmm. You learn pretty quick. And Kelsey, you had asked Rachel if she felt pressure to utilize everything that they grow on their farm. Do you feel the pressure to utilize everything we grow on our farm?
I do. We had so many peaches and apricots this year, and I didn't do anything with them. They just went to waste, and that. Well,
they didn't go to waste because we fed them to the pigs, but
that's still I don't know, a weight on my heart. Yeah. I hate seeing those missed opportunities that we've worked hard to have. But having the farm stand really does help, because if I'm swamped and I already have enough broccoli in the freezer and there's a bushel sitting in the garage, then we can pack it up and put it on the farm stand, and another family can enjoy it. And it doesn't have to go, nothing goes to waste, but I do feel that pressure.
And I feel the pressure for our customers, and especially during bean and tomato season, I'll pick a couple bushels of tomatoes and I package them up, like I said earlier, in $2 bags, and one person will come by and I'm hosting a dinner for the community, and there go all my beans that I picked, so I have to go back out in the field and pick more. So the purpose of our farmstead is not to get rich. I don't think any farmers can get rich farming, especially at the level we do.
Yeah.
But to be profitable, when we interviewed Natalie down in Hooligans, what profitable means to an individual varies. So we may make a little bit of money for profit, but it's the experiences that we have and our kids have that really mean more to us than the money. One of the other things we should address, and we'll link the video from Rachel and Kelsey's conversation. Kelsey said that we eat out a lot, which isn't necessarily true.
A lot to me is
once a week.
Once a week. I feel like we put so much effort into our food. That's another thing that weighs on my heart, is like something that goes to waste, is every time I bring home takeout.
Yeah, it's not an everyday occurrence. We maybe eat out once a week, and by that we order pizza for the kids. So that was kind of more of a joke, I think, rather than anything serious, because we produce a lot of food, and actually now getting into the fall where we aren't out picking and gardening all day, it's time to fatten up for the winter.
Yeah.
So I enjoy cooking, and that'll be something I do more of in the fall and wintertime, spring as we go. But we do freeze our food to preserve. We don't have time to do the canning thing we used to, but Jesus Christ.
I got mini Moira, or otherwise known as Chunks. She's the one who pooped. She don't have any more poop in her, so. She's so cute.
So yeah, with the food that we do produce, we do use freezers as our primary means of preservation. We haven't really had any issues with power outages. I think once last summer we had the power out for a few days, and we just ran a generator to keep the freezers going. We're not doomsday thinkers where we think the power grid's going to go off or anything like that. And actually Michigan's moving more and more towards renewable sources, so it's not something that we're really concerned about. So
we like freezing. It's faster than canning, it's easier than canning, and there are some things that I do think are better canned than frozen, but for the most part I think the other way around is better. I prefer my freezer jams to my canned jams, and frozen broccoli over canned broccoli.
Right.
So it works well for us. Someday I'd like to get back into canning some things again, like peaches and salsa, but when the kids are bigger and we have more time.
Well, thanks for joining us on Conversation with Coonies. Welcome to all the new subscribers, and like I said, stick around and just watch what we do here on our farm here in northern Lower Michigan.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye.